So while we're going to protect Michigan auto workers and we're going to protect their jobs, we're also going to fight for public safety in Michigan communities. And of all the things that Kamala Harris has done wrong, of course, I think the most broken policy the last 4 years has been that wide open southern border. And just remember, 4 years ago, Kamala Harris came into office. She bragged about undoing Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. Kamala Harris bragged about stopping construction of that border wall. She bragged about re-implementing catch and release, which opened the American southern border more than any single thing that she's done. And now that she's done it, of course, what are the consequences? We're living with it every single day. I just came from Wisconsin earlier today. They arrested a Mexican drug cartel member who had committed sexual assault against a mother and her 12-year-old girl in Wisconsin. Think about how far we are in Wisconsin from the southern border. Here in Michigan, how many drug cartel members, how many sheriffs have I talked to who have told me that drug cartel members are getting rich off the fentanyl trade right here in the great state of Michigan? We're about as far away from the southern border as you could be, but Michigan is a border state thanks to Kamala Harris's broken policies. And here's a simple principle that will motivate Donald J. Trump's administration is when he is back in the White House, we're going to wage war against the Mexican drug cartels and stop this poison from coming in to Michigan communities. You know, a lot of you know my story. A lot of you know that I was raised by my grandmother because my own mom struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. Now, I'm proud of my mom, and she's been clean and sober for almost 10 years, and that's an incredible grace and an incredible blessing for my family. Thank you. But I often ask myself, what if the poison that Kamala Harris lets come across the border today had been coming across 15 years ago? Because I really think that we would have been deprived of that second chance that we got with my mother. All of those memories that we've been able to build with my 7-year-old, my 4-year-old, and my 2-year-old, to them, she's the best grandma that they could have ever asked for. And that is a testament, of course, to the hope that does exist in recovery, but it's also a testament to what can happen when we fight for American citizens having second chances. For all of you who know somebody who's dealing with addiction, for all of you who know somebody who's had their life claimed by this terrible drug epidemic, I want you to know that when Donald J. Trump is back in the White House, you're going to have a fighter for you, for your families, for your second chances, because that's what we need in an American president. If you think of all the consequences of the border crisis, you think of the fentanyl, the poison that's coming into our communities at industrial scale, thanks to those drug cartels and thanks to Kamala Harris letting them do business in the state of Michigan. If you think about the public schools that have been overwhelmed because you've got thousands and thousands of kids who don't even speak English who have been dropped in to our Michigan schools, which has, of course, made it harder for American citizens of every color to get the kind of education that they deserve. If you've gone to an emergency room, go to a hospital and ask yourself, what are the wait times compared to what they were 6 years ago? They've gone up everywhere because Kamala Harris has let in millions upon millions of people who don't have the legal right to be in this country. Now, I believe that the United States is the most generous country in the world. I believe that we are the most compassionate people anywhere in the world. But the compassion of the American president belongs to American citizens, to people who have the legal right to be here, not to people who shouldn't be here in the first place. And this is what's got to change about that broken border. This is what has to change about Kamala Harris's immigration policies, is if we continue to let millions upon millions of people into this country illegally every single year, it's going to bankrupt our municipalities. It's going to deprive American children of the chance at a good education. It's going to mean that we've got millions of American families who are losing their loved ones because of the poison that's coming into our communities. It's going to mean longer wait times at our hospitals. It's going to mean that Social Security and Medicare go bankrupt because Kamala Harris is promising to give Social Security and Medicare benefits to illegal aliens, I happen to think those benefits ought to go to the American citizens who have been paying into them for their entire lives. So while Kamala Harris is rolling out the red carpet and offering free medical care, free health care, free housing, and free schooling to people who don't have the legal right to be in this country, Donald J. Trump's message is a little bit different. If you're in this country illegally, pack your bags, because in 3 months you're going back home.